right, so this lesson is going to be for those of you who are struggling to write grammatically correctly. We're going to start with some basics. This is an English grammar lesson for all ages, and this is on subjects and predicates. So what in the world are those things, and how do I even use them? That's what we're going to find out today. So here we go. Let's start with something simple. Sentences. We use them all the time, right? Simply put, a sentence tells the reader what is happening to whom by including both a subject and a predicate. What are subject and predicates? Subject is what or whom the sentence is about. So, school, the student, a car, the movie, friendship, a cat, a book, the clouds, my grandma. Okay, and the predicate explains what the subject is doing. Runs, was sleeping, hears, talked, is jumping, sat, ran, could be napping. These are just some options. Before you can really understand subjects, predicates, it's really important to understand some basic parts of speech. So this is going to help you avoid grammatical mistakes. You have to understand the very two most basic parts of speech, the noun and the verb. So a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. It might be easier to understand idea as a concept. So a person like teacher, a place like park, a thing like dog, an idea or concept like gravity. You have these subcategories underneath nouns, such as pronoun, and that's a word that replaces a noun. So instead of teacher, you could say he or she. Instead of park, you can say it. You can say they, we, her, him, them, us, our. There's a whole bunch more pronouns out there, but those are some main ones that we hear often. Another thing that's important is the proper noun. Understanding that the difference between a noun and a proper noun is simply that the proper noun is the name of a specific person, place, thing, or idea. So a specific teacher would be Mr. Reynolds. A specific park would be Redwood State Park. A specific dog would be Rover. A specific concept would be theory of relativity. So note that all proper nouns are always capitalized. Always, whether they come at the beginning of the sentence, in the middle of the sentence, at the end of the sentence, they're always capitalized because they are names. Any name of anything, anyone, is going to be capitalized. Now let's look at verbs. Verbs describe actions, a state of being, or an occurrence. Okay, so it could be doing something, running, jumping, playing, etc. It could be a state of being, as in am, is, are, was, were. Okay, those are states of being. And an occurrence, such as thinking, such as feeling. So you have linking verbs, which are going to, another occurrence that I wanted to talk about was develop. So you can develop something that would be an occurrence, right? A linking verb is a word or expression that links the subject to the rest of the predicate. So any form of to be is a linking verb. Look, seem, or feel. So he seems unhappy. She looks tired. I feel sad. And he is here. He is here. Sorry, I had to think of an example. He is here. That's a form of the to be linking verb. Helping verbs, a word that helps the main verb express an action or a state of being. So again, any form of the verb to be. And the difference between linking verb and helping verb when you're talking about using the verb to be is whether or not it's connecting it to another verb, a main verb, or whether or not it's just connecting it to another part of the predicate. So he is here is using is to connect he, the subject, to here, which is a part of the predicate. Helping verb is where you use any other part of these verbs to connect to the main verb. So instead of saying he is here, which is using it as a linking verb, you could say he is coming. Okay, so the the main verb to come is connected with to be. So he is coming. That makes it a helping verb. Is helping the verb to come. Okay, so he is coming versus he is here. That's linking verb versus helping verb. It's also words such as could or would have or should have been or may have been or could be, anything like that. Those are all helping verbs. He could be sleeping. He should have been doing homework. Okay, all those are helping verbs. Also, please note that it is may have been, would have, should have, could have instead of. Of is a preposition. So a lot of people confuse that because when we say it quickly, we say would have, could have, should have, and it sounds like of, but it's really not. It's should have, would have, could have. It's just how quickly we say it in the contraction form. Okay. So now that we know the basic parts of speech and we understand those, we're going to look at simple subjects. So what exactly are simple subjects? Simple subjects are just the main words of the subject, leaving out any added modifiers. So what does that mean? It's just the noun or pronoun, proper noun, etc. of the subject. So no articles, no prepositions, no adjectives, adverbs, or any other modifiers. So if these words were being used in a sentence, you would pull out just the noun portion or the pronoun portion to make the simple subject. So school, student, car, movie, friendship, love, Melissa, Derek, book, clouds, Burger King, the Washington Post, grandma. So one thing I want to note is the Washington Post is the newspaper's official name. That's the company or organization name. So the article the is part of the simple subject as a proper noun because it is a part of their name. So remember, proper nouns, you spell them exactly as the company spells them. And if you're looking for just the simple subject in the Washington Post printed an article today. So the Washington Post would be the entire simple subject, even though normally we don't put the article the in the simple subject. But since it's a part of the proper noun, we have to include that as a simple subject. All right, moving on to simple predicates. So now we know simple subjects are just the noun. What are simple predicates? Simple predicates are just the main words of the predicate, leaving out any added modifiers. So what does that mean? Just the main verb, the linking verb, and or the helping verb of the predicate. So no other articles, prepositions, adjectives, adverbs, or other modifiers. So this is what a simple predicate might look like. Runs, was sleeping, hears, talked, is jumping, sat, ran, could be napping. All right, complete subjects. We know what simple subjects are now, so now we have to understand what is a complete subject. The complete subjects are the nouns, pronouns, proper nouns, etc. that make up the subject and any of the modifiers. So with the simple subject, you leave out the modifiers. With the complete subject, you are including the modifiers. So let's look at what that means. Including any of the articles, prepositions, adjectives, adverbs, and any other modifiers. The looming school campus, all of the students, her jet black car, the producer's new movie cover, their best friendship of 2 years. Okay, those are all complete subjects that you might see in a sentence. Let's look at complete predicates. The complete predicates are the main verbs of the predicate and any added modifiers. The same way that your complete subject has any added modifiers, so does your complete predicate. So what are complete predicates? You take your main verb or your linking verb with your helping verbs, and then you include any articles, prepositions, adjectives, adverbs, or any other modifiers. Ran down the block, had been sleeping in his bed, jumped over the fence, is here, was helping, sat down in the wrong seat and had to move later. Okay, that's a long one, but that would be a complete predicate. And the whole point of understanding subjects and predicates is so we can understand the difference between fragments and run-ons. Okay? Whether you are writing something for school, to apply for a job, a complaint letter, anything formal, you need to write in complete sentences. In complete sentences, not incomplete. This lesson will help ensure that you are not accidentally writing fragments or run-on sentences. So how can I make sure I'm writing complete sentences? How can I avoid writing run-ons? By learning about fragments and run-on sentences and avoiding them. So let's look at what these are. A fragment is an incomplete sentence because it is either missing a subject or a verb, which we were talking about would be the predicate. A run-on sentence is when two or more sentences are run together without the proper punctuation and or conjunctions. Or it doesn't have to be two or more sentences. It could be a sentence and a clause or a sentence and a phrase that's strung together without the proper punctuation or conjunctions. Okay, let's try matching subjects and verbs to make complete sentences. Turn that down just a little bit. So you have your subjects here on the left and your predicates on the right. So you can match up any two that make the most sense. You can say, the cat makes me happy. You can say, school helps me. You can say, my friends don't like my favorite movie. You can say, I like my friends a lot. You can say, my friends are awesome. You can say, we are having so much fun. So you take a subject and you take a predicate and you blend them together to make a complete sentence. Okay, congratulations. You just made several complete sentences. Now that we know what subjects and predicates are, let's decide what the fragments below are missing, a subject or a predicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the fragment below. I'm going to give you a second to decide, a moment to decide what it's missing, the subject or the predicate. And then I'll show you the answer and explain. First, let's do an example. Example 1. The happy little fluffy dog with a plump tummy and brown spots on his back. What is that missing? This fragment is missing the verb or the predicate. Everything in this fragment is describing the subject, the dog. The dog would be the simple subject, and this entire clause phrase here would be the, I said clause, I meant phrase. The entire phrase here would be the complete subject. The happy little fluffy dog with a plump tummy and brown spots on his back. That's the complete subject. But we don't have a predicate. We don't know what this happy little fluffy dog is doing. Okay, example 2. Ran all the way to the corner market, bought some Laffy Taffy, a ring pop, some Airheads, and a bottle of Coke. This fragment is missing the subject.
This came back from a search.
Everything in this fragment is telling us what the subject did, but we don't know who did it. All right, so we have 5 examples, or 5 sentences for phrases. Sorry, I keep saying sentences. 5 phrases for you to decide whether or not they're missing the subject or predicate. Number 1, wanted to go to school early. Okay, if you said it was missing the subject, you would be correct. We don't know who wanted to go to school early. Number 2, singing in the rain. Answer, subject. We don't know who is singing in the rain. Number 3, this little girl with curls in her hair. If you said predicate, you would be correct. We don't know what the little girl with curls in her hair is doing. Went off to the market. If you said subject, you would be correct. We don't know who went off to the market. Do your homework. trick question. If you answered neither, you are correct. It is not missing either one of these. This sentence is called an imperative sentence. This type of sentence gives directions or commands and has an implied subject of you. For example, you do your homework. So in this case, it's not missing either one. Thank you for watching. In order to avoid leaving grammatical errors behind in your formal writing, make sure each sentence has a subject and predicate. It will say who is doing what. Hopefully from now on, you will not have any more fragments or run-on sentences.